Jobs, jobs, jobs. The unemployment rate is at the lowest point it has been since 2001. We saw the Dow hit an all-time high this week. The stock market is up. The economy is booming, ladies and gentlemen. And jobs. There have been almost 800,000 new jobs created in this country since Donald Trump took office in January. And speaking of jobs, Foxconn is a company who has promised up to 13,000 new manufacturing jobs in Wisconsin.
Well, that was Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, who works for his 2020 re-election campaign. Can never start too soon. And who this week hosted a new Facebook Live broadcast to counteract all the, quote, fake news with reliable pro-Trump messaging. The economic headlines do certainly look good right now. More than 1 million jobs have been added since Trump took office. The unemployment rate narrowly dropped down to 4.3%, and the economy grew at an annualized rate of 2.6% in the second quarter. Now, is this all evidence of Trump's success? He certainly seems to think so. But since Trump hasn't actually implemented any policies affecting the economy or passed any or signed any legislation related to it, does he really deserve the credit? Well, joining me now to debate this is Tim Descher of the Heritage Foundation and Austan Goolsbee, the former chairman of the Council on Economic Advisors under President Obama. Thank you both for being here. This should be fun. All right, so Tim, I'm going to start with you because you wrote a piece in the Daily Signal, which is a conservative news website. This is what you wrote about the strong jobs report for July, and it says it gives Trump momentum for tax reform. And you wrote, since Trump's inauguration, we've averaged nearly 184,000 new jobs per month, but that is without major substantive reforms like repealing Obamacare or tax cuts. Instead, gains have likely come from reductions in harmful regulations that make it easier to run business in the U.S. So you agree that there's been no affirmative policy by Donald Trump that's made the economy grow?
Well, there has been nothing passed through Congress. There's been several attempts by the White House to do that. But really, you can't credit Obama for something he didn't do. I mean, he grew at a 2% average. You can't credit Obama for something he didn't do. And what you said is his economy. And, you know, Trump's growing at 2.6% at this point. He's seeing over 1 million jobs created so far. This is a big win for Americans. This is a big win for coal miners in West Virginia. This is a big win for manufacturers right here in Detroit, where I am. And so I don't really see this as something of Obama's. This is definitely of Trump's. This is a posture from the White House.
So you're saying that Trump hasn't signed any legislation that's made the economy grow, but he deserves credit for the economy. But Barack Obama, who had 8 years of signing legislation and policy, deserves no credit? Look, can we show the chart for job? You're saying he deserves no credit for this. We're going to show this chart. So Obama deserves no credit for this. It started off deeply in the red, and then it finished quite well. He deserves no credit, but Donald Trump in 7 months deserves all the credit?
I'm saying that Donald Trump has projected a posture not only through speaking, but also through regulatory reform, regulatory action throughout the agencies to sort of unleash businesses and letting them thrive and letting them produce, letting coal miners go back to work, letting manufacturers hire again.
How many coal jobs are there in the country?
There's several. There's millions of coal jobs, and those attached to the coal industry.
Not millions. But it's about 54,000.
No, but those attached to the coal industry and mining industry and all those. There's millions of jobs there, and these are jobs that are coming back. There's been 7,000 jobs per month average since Donald Trump was elected in November. This is directly related to President Trump's policies and his posture.
I'm going to let okay. So Austan, I'm going to let you take this because essentially what is being argued by your fellow here, Tim, is that Donald Trump, just the way he speaks, has made the economy flower, but that Barack Obama in 8 years did nothing. Economic growth at 2.6%, which is true, and Tim pointed that out. However, the economy has grown 2.6% or more in 81 of the last 145 quarters since Ronald Reagan became president, including 14 times during the Obama administration. So given that, Austan, does Donald Trump get credit for the 2.6?
Look, we've had, I believe, 84 months in a row of job growth, and the last 6 of those have been under Donald Trump. And I mean, it's like a guy built a house and sold it to someone, and that person walked in and turned the lights on. It's like, look at this house I built. If you take the job creation under Donald Trump, it's actually slightly slower than the equivalent just last year. So the first 7 months of last year, we added more jobs than we have in the first 7 months of this year. I would say the economy Overall, most of the economy, as you know, has nothing to do with Washington. To the extent that it does have to do with Washington, it's totally obvious this is merely a continuation at exactly the same rates as what happened under Barack Obama. And I would simply point out that when it happened under President Obama, it was Donald Trump himself saying, you can't trust the statistics. These are all lies. There aren't this many jobs getting created. And literally, with fewer jobs being created in the same statistics, Donald Trump is now saying, look what I did.
What do you make of that, Tim? Because we can put that chart back up. So the average in the first 6 months of 2016, when Barack Obama was still president, the average was 187,000 jobs a month. The average in the first 6 months of 2017 is 184,000, slightly less. So doesn't Austin have a good point there?
Look, the stock market tells it all. It rallies when there is good reports, and including the NFIB, who reports that small business confidence at its highest at all time since Donald Trump took office. I'm not arguing that there hasn't been some residual lingering effect. That's not my point. My point is that now is the time to enact on this posture from the White House. Now is the time to do tax reform. Now is the time to continue doing regulatory reform. Now is the time to, yes, repeal Obamacare and remove the leash that's been on small business and business around America. You realize we have the highest corporate tax rate in the entire world? Now is the time to act on that. Now is the time to dig in. We're seeing these numbers respond. That's my whole point.
But if there was higher, hold on, if there was higher
job growth, my point is we've added 15 million jobs since Obamacare was passed, and now the approach is, hey, let's do the opposite. Look, do you actually think that if we do the opposite and we go back to the old well of let's cut taxes for billionaires and let's try to do the things that George W. Bush did before the economic recession, that will give us a different outcome this time than the last time it did?
Now, look, Austin, you know better than anyone when Reagan did exactly what I am advocating right now. We didn't see 184,000 jobs average. We were seeing 400,000 jobs a month. We know this works. We know what happens when you cut taxes.
Your timing's a little confused.
We know what happens.
If you recall, the reason that we had a massive boom in 1984 is because Paul Volcker cut the interest rate by 10 percentage points in the run-up to that boom. When George W. Bush most recently did exactly the thing that Donald Trump is proposing, we had the weakest recovery on record, followed by a massive recession.
And didn't we have a recession in 82 and 83 as well after Ronald Reagan cut his sort of huge slashing budget as well? I want to just put up one. This is E10 for my producers. This is the employment growth in the economy. This is the change since June of 2009. You see that blue line? That's full-time employment really going up high. We also have seen finally income growth start to go in the right direction. I think we have that chart as well. So we are seeing numbers that began going in the right direction under President Obama. Tim, you have to admit that the economy recovered. It didn't just recover in the last 6 months. It recovered in the last 8 years.
Look, President Obama's growth in the GDP was pathetic.
It's 2.6%.
Last year, the economy grew at 1.5%. That's not good. That is not good. The economy has not been growing. You can choose and pick all that you want, but the bottom line is that GDP has been stagnant. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you just said GDP has been stagnant. You bragged about Donald Trump having 2.6% growth. The economy has grown at 2.6% growth 14 times during the Obama administration, and 81 out of 145 quarters since Reagan. I'm just not sure the statistics are with you, but we loved having you guys on. I'm sorry we're out of time. Tim Doescher, Austin Goolsbee, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And coming up in our next hour, more on Robert Mueller's investigation of possible Trump ties to Russiagate. And the stars of the new hit movie Detroit are here. More AM Joy after the break.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.